Hi there. Somebody asked in the forum, well, not the forum, in the comments section on YouTube regarding the new for 2025 Scott STB-2 and STB-1, which hasn't come out yet. How are they going to be able to figure out what size they need when Scott just changed the sizing scheme to large and small? So I figured I'd jump on. I know it's been a while. I've got a couple of videos that are coming out, but I'm going to try to do an unscripted one and attempt to not, stumble or stammer my way through it. What Scott did now, their sizes are kind of retarded in that the two aren't really all that different from each other. Medium and large, the only real difference between them is the size of the finger extensions. The four finger one for the large is the same on the large Apex, but that's pretty much the most distinguishing feature of them. The large and the medium are actually kind of hard to tell apart unless you have them right next to each other or that they are marked as such. But if you look at them, at the Apex anyway, if you line the suckers up, the finger beds are not really all that different, especially if you line them up that way. So they're almost identical. The difference is the large sticks out a little more here and has a very tiny bit of extra finger bed on the middle finger. Similarly, the STB-2, which I guess they gave up on coming up with unique names for things, the finger extensions are the same size as the larges for the Apex, so that's going to be a little bit oversized for a medium. Oops. But the finger beds, it doesn't come up as much at the tip here, so if you have larger fingers, like super huge fingers, then they might spill over a little bit here. But they did give it enough room so that you'll be able to use it. Along with somebody with medium-sized hands, I have small hands, and I should be able to use this without much difficulty. I am going to get the STB-1, and that's likely, if I am going to add this to my rotation, that's going to be one of the ones that I end up shooting. But if you put these down here... Oh, by the way, the STB-2 and STB-1 are just an aluminum Apex. There really is no major differences between them except for a lanyard attachment, and it doesn't come with a lanyard, which is kind of annoying. It also doesn't come with any tools either. There are other quirks and things like that with regards to the tooling and stuff of that nature, but I think I'll leave it for an ad nauseum video. This is just supposed to be a quickie. Sizing-wise, if you line these up with the old Apexes, not exactly old, but the finger beds, or the areas where your fingers are going to rest, are actually really close to each other, if not identical. The STB-1 is basically like a dehorned and slightly more ergonomic version of the Apex. It's also lighter because it's made entirely of aluminum. With this, they're calling it, the color is in here somewhere, it's on the packaging. They're calling it tan green, which is... I don't see, maybe I'm colorblind to that, but I don't see green. It's almost like a burnt bronze color, but a lot less, a little bit darker and a little bit duller than the Apex core that came out last year. But anyway, this is the large against the large STB-2 against the large Apex. And then we take this and then we move it to... By the way, I did have to draw myself a little square to make sure that I'm staying in it and staying in frame because I'm not used to doing desktop videos. So here's the large STB-2 against the medium Apex. And you may notice they are almost identical. Again, almost identical. Let me get this lined up right. There we go. So they're very, very close to each other in terms of sizing. So if you're a medium, if you're used to a medium Apex, you can get the large. If you were used to a large, you can still get the large because they weren't that much different to begin with. The small, I'll be interested in seeing what that sizing is and if they actually came up with a distinct small as opposed to the medium and large, which are hard to tell apart unless they're right next to each other and you have the finger extensions to take a look at. So I hope that answered some questions. I'm going to do a more in-depth video on the Scott handhelds that came out as soon as I have them in hand, but this one was the first one to to be in stock. So that's the one I figured I'd answer that question and hopefully help someone make an informed decision on their purchase. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, but take care, stay safe, and happy hunting. So here's how dumb I am. I ended up comparing the STB-2 to its predecessor and didn't even bother explaining what it matches up with in terms of sizes for everything else. So I'm going to do that now real fast to tag it at the end. So this is a Carter Wise choice. That's roughly equivalent size-wise. So Carter, if you shoot a Carter Wise choice, then the STB-2 will fit you. Focus. Also, if you shoot a true ball, this is a goat in medium. So a medium goat, or actually generally speaking, all of the true balls are sized consistently now. So anything true ball medium, if you shoot the medium, you're going to want to go with the STB-2 if you want to try a Scott. If you shoot a Stan, I don't know why you'd go with a Scott, but just kidding. I shoot them all. I shoot everything. This is a Stan Onyx in large, and they match up. Their finger bits match up rather nicely. We're pretty close. So if you shoot a Stan large, or a true ball medium, or a regular sized Carter, the STB-2 is going to be the one you want. I don't know what the STB-1 is going to be because I don't have it yet, but I'll do a follow-up when I do my ad nauseum video comparing the sizing of that as well, since there's only two sizes. Technically what they ended up doing, or what Scott ended up doing, was going with Carter's scheme, where they have a regular sized one that ends up fitting most people's hands, and then they went with what they call a small, but it ends up just being smaller as opposed to actually being small. Now I might be wrong because I don't have it yet, but they're marketing the STB-1 as a small and for children's and women's hands, and probably my hands too, to my own chagrin. But so I just thought I'd tag that along if anybody was wondering how it matches up to other brands.